Yeah, so you definitely started living in a higher story, a greater story than Nico's story.
Oh, without a doubt. It's
Yeah.
kingdom-minded. I mean, I love that you guys, I talk about 2 Corinthians 5 all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about what an ambassador is. What is an ambassador? An ambassador is when the home country sends you to a foreign land to represent what? Yourself? To represent the home country. So if we're ambassadors, from a lawyer, so words matter, sorry. So if you're an ambassador for Christ, that means we represent the home country in a foreign land. But do you do it boldly, humbly, courageously? Matthew 5 calls it meekness, and we think it's weakness. It's not. It just means humble and gentle. That's all it means. It doesn't mean weakness. And 2 Timothy 1:7 says, I didn't give you a spirit of timidity, but of strength, sound mind, courage, and love. So what does that mean? How do you put all that together? How does that work out with you? Because Christians do a bad job sometimes.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah, so as you started your professional career, where was your faith at that point?
It wasn't a Hebrews 11:1 faith, as I say, a persuasion. I mean, what is faith? If you have faith in a doctor, you're persuaded by that doctor. Faith in a friend or a spouse or a lawyer, you're persuaded by them. So faith to me, I mean, Hebrews 11:1 is a wonderful definition. I'm not trying to change that at all. But what does it mean in application? I mean, are you persuaded by God's word? Persuaded so much that you'll live it out. Persuaded so much that you won't deny him in public. Persuaded so much that, take it a step further, Matthew 10, that when you're sheep amongst wolves, Matthew 10:16, are you okay with that? I mean, are you okay when people don't like you because of your faith or criticize you? Or are you a cafeteria Christian, as I say, meaning that you get the tray and then you go through the line and pick and choose what you want? I mean, if you're an all-in, unapologetic Christian and follower of Jesus Christ, you just say, Lord, you fill up my plate. I'm not going to fill it up. And then you accept, but you have to understand what you're accepting so you can become yours. So
was there a point in time where you felt like you transferred over from becoming, quote, a cafeteria Christian to being all in?
Oh, sure. I mean, at that one time when I was in the court representing my client and then realizing that I need to get it together for my kids, they're not even born yet. In my studies, and just Christianity made sense. I mean, why are you a Christian? I'll just tell you my answer about it. Because it's true, that's why. That persuades me. I mean, the resurrection is true. 80% of Christians, there's Pew Research, and you put them all together, around 78 to 82% of Christians in the country believe that Jesus might not be the only way to heaven. That's a problem, especially when Jesus said in John 16:33 that I am what? The way, the truth, and the life. And some people, no one comes to the Father but through me. That's kind of a problem, right? And so am I persuaded by that? Well, if I'm persuaded by that, can I litigate that? So I started studying and realizing, and that's not the same way, but similar to Lee Strobel's work and Jim Wallace. I mean, this guy's a detective, and he was a devout atheist and started, I mean, he's a detective and putting cold case homicide cases together. He starts studying and saying, man, I'm putting this case together for the resurrection, because it's all about the resurrection, right? I mean, in 1 Corinthians 15, Paul said, without the resurrection, this is all for nothing. His birthday's great, and he wasn't born on December 25th. We'll talk later if it's crucial. but that's what we celebrated. But it's all about the resurrection. If you don't have the resurrection, then we're just a bunch of people clanging our horns, right?
So you're convinced that Jesus Christ was a real person, he lived and died and rose again from the dead?
As sure as I touch you. I mean, even atheist scholars believe that Jesus walked the earth. There's no doubt about that. If you want to read a book, The Case for the Resurrection, Dr. Gary Habermas does a great job of studying the resurrection. I absolutely believe that. You have to think about that. Lee Strobel really focused on the resurrection. Jim Wallace, I mean, it's all about the resurrection. And so Habermas looks at three things. He looks at, was there really a crucifixion? Because, you know, Islam and people of the Islamic believe that it was Judas, that it was not Jesus that was crucified. Why? Because then you have to explain why you see a resurrected Jesus after he was crucified. So if he was never crucified, then there's no problem if you saw him after the crucifixion. So was there a crucifixion? There was. There's no doubt about that. Atheist scholars will tell you that. Was there a designated burial tomb? Yeah, Joseph of Arimathea. I mean, he was a Sanhedrin. He was part of the religious section. And he wanted the body from Pilate, and he buried him in a known tomb. And then was there an empty tomb? We can talk about why it's empty. So he looks at it through those three factors. It's a minimal evidence approach. I think it's a good approach when you think of it from as a lawyer standpoint. It made sense to me. But absolutely. Sorry, long answer for a short question. But yes, I absolutely believe that Jesus rose from the dead.